Welcome, everyone. Ready to dive deep.
Always.
Today, well, we're tackling a question that's been around forever.
Yeah.
Right. Are we alone? But we're going further. Like, have we been visited?
Gets the imagination going for sure. Sparks debate too.
Totally. So we're looking at this episode. Joe Rogan questions everything, specifically real close encounters.
Yeah, Rogan, he's interesting, starts as a skeptic.
Wants that hard proof.
Yeah, not just stories. Sets a different tone for the whole thing.
Immediately, he's talking to Steve Bassett, this UFO lobbyist. Bassett lays out these fundamental facts, he calls them.
Oh, I remember this. What were they again?
Extraterrestrials exist, government knows, they're covering it up, and contact's ongoing. Pretty bold.
Definitely sets the stage. Like, that's the whole episode right there. Belief versus skepticism.
Exactly. Rogan's pushing back right away, wants evidence. Leads into the Roswell
The
incident.
cornerstone of UFO stuff, right? 1947, that newspaper first says flying disc, then the military's like, nope, weather balloon.
Which, of course, makes everyone think it's a cover-up.
Classic. The episode goes into the theories, people who say they saw stuff, believe the cover-up and all that.
Then things get a little spooky. Former military at nuclear sites, their stories.
So yeah, UFOs over these facilities, even shutting down missiles, they claimed.
Makes you wonder, right? If it's true, why are they interested in our nukes?
Right.
Watching us, worried what we'll do.
Episode doesn't give answers, but makes you think. Like, what if there's a civilization way ahead of us and they're checking out our nukes? And then we get to Robert Bigelow.
Now, he's interesting. Hotel tycoon, but loves space, UFOs, the whole thing. Founded Bigelow Aerospace, worked with NASA.
But also owns Skinwalker Ranch, Utah, right?
Oh,
Super mysterious.
Big-time UFO hotspot. Guarded, off-limits, rumors of creatures, weird stuff, even fights between guards and, well, something.
Adds to the whole thing, right? The episode plays into that. Like, two investigators saw this door open in light, creature comes out.
But, classic UFO problem, no photo. Forgot the infrared filter.
Happens all the time. Makes you wonder what to believe when there's no solid proof, even with these wild stories.
So Rogan, he can't resist. He goes to Skinwalker Ranch himself. With Duncan Trussell.
That's right. They hit the gate, can't get past. Duncan, he's yelling, "We have pizza!" Trying to get someone to come out.
Hilarious. The episode mixes humor and real curiosity so well.
Definitely. And them not even getting close just adds to the, like, secret feeling of it all.
Then they meet this local, Mike Miller. Adds another layer to this Skinwalker mystery.
Miller says he saw a rectangle UFO over his truck, orange lights in the sky, animals disappearing from Bigelow's land.
More eyewitness stuff, no hard evidence, but his stories are captivating.
What heist's going on there? You can see Rogan going back and forth, wanting proof, but also fascinated.
Yeah, he even jokes his BS meter is broken after some of the stuff he hears. But it shows how powerful these stories are, even if we can't prove them. We're drawn to the unknown.
We are. One of the biggest unknowns is, well, are we alone?
Speaking of unknowns, the episode also gets into alien implants.
Yeah, these little metal things people say were put in them by aliens, usually during abductions. Controversial, even in UFO circles.
Rogan's skeptical, of course. He meets Nicole Domes, says she was abducted, shows a scar, thinks it's from an implant.
Typical kind of evidence in these cases, right? Sees a disc, missing time, then the unexplained mark.
Rogan wants more than a story, so they go to Daryl Sims, calls himself an alien hunter, says he has real implants.
And it's all these little metal things, tiny spheres. Says they came from abductees.
It looks like junk, honestly.
Yeah.
But Rogan takes it to an electron microscope lab, wants it analyzed. They meet Dr. Irwin Kumar. He's the expert.
And they look at the spheres under the microscope. It's interesting, right?
Totally.
Yeah.
Dr. Kumar says there's 75% gold, 24% silver. Not something you find just anywhere.
Weird. But even he can't say for sure how they got there. Like, science can't always explain everything when we get into these unknown areas. It really does make you think, like science and the unknown bumping up against each other.
It does. Are those things really from aliens, or is there some explanation we haven't found yet? But then the episode goes back to Bigelow and Skinwalker Ranch.
Makes sense, right? That ranch is like the heart of this whole thing.
Total mystery. So to dig deeper, Rogan brings in Jason McClellan, a journalist who's been looking into all this.
McClellan, he's got the background on Bigelow, how long he's been into UFOs, all the money he put into research with Bigelow Aerospace.
And get this, McClellan says the FAA actually sends UFO reports to Bigelow's company. What's going on there?
Makes you wonder about the government, right? How much do they know? Are they involved?
McClellan goes even further, says maybe Bigelow has crashed UFOs, reverse engineering alien tech. Now that's wild.
Yeah, he brings up this 2010 New York Times article. Bigelow was talking about his company, but he made these weird comments about UFOs, mentioned people getting hurt, even killed, said it was more than just observing.
Hurt?
Yeah.
Killed? That's creepy, especially from someone who works with NASA.
Adds a whole different feel, right? Like maybe these encounters aren't always friendly.
Definitely makes things more intense. So Rogan, he's got to know more about Bigelow and Skinwalker Ranch, sends Duncan Trussell to interview Dr. Eric Davis.
Now, Dr. Davis, he worked for Bigelow, spent time at the ranch doing research. He's an astrophysicist, so he's legit.
He's been to the place, and he's a scientist.
Exactly. And he talks about weird stuff happening, seeing these balls of light, acting smart, like they were watching them.
And then, that story again. The door and the light, tall creature. Sounds like a movie.
But no photo, forgot the filter. Again, it's like, come on, people. We're left with just the story.
Wanting to believe, but needing proof. It's the UFO struggle.
For real. How much can you trust what people say, especially about something as crazy as aliens?
So does Rogan ever get to see anything himself at Skinwalker Ranch?
Well, after hearing all that, he decides he has to try. Him, Duncan, and this local named Ryan Skinner, who says he's seen UFOs around there, they go out to the ranch at night.
Wow, going all out, night vision, the whole thing.
They're serious. They spend the night looking, pointing out lights, talking about theories. You can feel the excitement, like they might actually see something amazing.
A real UFO hunt.
Totally. They see some lights, some movement, but most of it's just normal stuff. Reflections, cars, even the moon on a tree stump.
Shows you, gotta be careful. Not everything weird is a UFO.
Right. But it's cool to see Rogan reacting to those moments, even when it's nothing. You can see how curious he is, and maybe a little bummed they haven't found anything truly unexplainable.
After hearing those wild stories, I bet. But did they find anything they couldn't explain?
Depends on who you ask. Ryan Skinner, the local guy, he tells this story about a glowing orb he saw that changed into a wolf-like creature.
Okay. That's pushing it, even for me.
Yeah, and Rogan even jokes his BS meter is broken after that. But you can also see him, like, struggling with how skeptical he is.
What do you mean?
Like, he's laughing, having fun with the guys, but he also sees that people have these experiences that are hard to explain, even if they don't fit into, science and evidence and all that.
Right. So, no UFO on camera, but maybe Rogan came away with a new perspective.
Maybe. He doesn't say he believes, but he talks about how big and mysterious the universe is, and how maybe there are things we just don't get.
We don't have all the answers. Kind of humbling.
For sure. And the episode ends with Rogan asking this question. What if these super advanced aliens, if they're out there, see us the same way we see chimps?
Whoa. Makes you think, right? Where do we fit in? What if we meet someone way smarter than us?
Like, we think we're so special, but maybe we're not. There's so much we don't know.
So Rogan didn't see a UFO, but he came back with more questions, more wonder.
He did. And that's what's great about this episode. It doesn't give you all the answers. It takes you along on the ride and makes you keep your mind open.
So even without hard proof, Rogan's kind of changed, right? But what about us? What do we learn about UFOs, aliens, all that from this deep dive?
Well, no smoking gun, But it shows you how tricky this whole thing is, believing versus being skeptical. Rogan's going back and forth the whole time, wants evidence, but he's definitely hooked on the whole idea.
It's what makes it interesting. He's thinking critically, but not shutting it all down. He wants to figure it out, find some truth in all this craziness.
And that's where it works. It's like, hey, be curious, but think for yourself. It's okay not to know everything.
Keep asking questions, look at it from different sides, maybe even realize we don't know as much as we thought we did about the universe and stuff.
Totally. The episode throws in some wild stories, but it also talks to scientists, people trying to explain things with what we know now.
Good mix. Personal stories, firsthand stuff, but also like trying to make sense of it all with science.
And sometimes there's just no easy answer. We're left with these mysteries, things we can't quite put in a box.
It's just kind of cooler, right? Keeps the wonder going.
I think so. Makes you realize we don't know it all about the universe. And that's okay. There's still so much to discover, maybe even something totally mind-blowing.
So we're wrapping up. What's the big takeaway from this Joe Rogan UFO adventure?
Keep an open mind. Be willing to think about stuff that might change how we see the world. The episode doesn't say believe this. It shows you all these different things and says, what do you think?
Reminds us there's a lot we haven't figured out yet. And maybe someday we will. But until then, the search goes on.
Always searching, always learning. And this episode says, keep asking questions and be ready for whatever amazing things the universe might have in store.
And that's a wrap on our deep dive. Thanks for being with us.